Good afternoon. This is God's Plan Radio. I'm your host, Russ Conway. This is our Wednesday edition of our Webcast series. I hope you guys are having a blessed day and that you are having an awesome Wednesday. Remember, it's hump day. Only 2 more days to go until the weekend's here. You get to spend it with some friends and family, and then get to go to church on Sunday and get an awesome ministry of the Lord and to get rejuvenated to continue to go on one more day with God. I hope you guys are enjoying these webcast series. I've got a lot of good feedback from you all. Thank you again for those comments that you've made about the show, and the things that you guys have said have been very inspiring and have been uplifting to me as well. So I just wanted to say thank you for that. I asked the Lord today to kind of give me a message on what He'd like me to speak with you guys about, and I've actually it's interesting how God works. You know, my brother and I were having a conversation on the phone, not even pertaining to my lesson, just talking in general, and the Lord quickened my heart to something He wanted me to bring to everybody's attention tonight. So the Lord works in mysterious ways. I can't question how He does it. It's just the way He does it. But we're going to go through a couple of scriptures tonight real quick. One of them is in Ephesians, if you want to mark that down, and 1 Corinthians and Colossians. Those are going to be the 3 scriptures that I'm going to be reading from so far. And I guess if, I had to give a title to this lesson, it would be God's Church or Man's Church. And I'm reminded of the fact that, when I was growing up as a child, we would never really, we would socialize with a couple of the kids in our neighborhood. We'd talk to them, we'd play, we'd hang out. But whenever it came to us trying to invite them to church, we never did. And that was purely, whatever reasons you want to say it is, me being embarrassed to say, hey, come to our church. There would be a couple of times we did invite some people to our church, and they came, and we had a great time. But it never really just felt like it was something that I needed to do. I just never felt like I had to invite someone to my church. There was a couple of times where we would invite them to Easter and some other special events, but I would never just invite them to our church. And I'm saying that to kind of give you guys an understanding that even in today's time, trying to get someone to go to a church, it's not as easy as it used to be. Most people already go to church, may already be a member of a church, may have their own religion that they do in their house. There's so many different types of churches that are around today, and that's a very good thing. That just gives God more opportunities to, minister to His people. But I'm feeling the Lord is wanting us to be united more in a way. And not so much the fact that, all the Baptists come and conform to one religion or one type of church, and all the Pentecostals and all the Lutheran and Methodist, Apostolic. That's not what I'm really getting at with this message. So please don't misunderstand what I'm trying to say. Diversity is what created us. We were all in one mind and one accord, and then the Lord separated us and sent us on our ways. And I understand that diversity is for that. But when God intended for the church to be established, He intended one body. Now, He uses the word body a lot in the Bible as references. The body of Christ is the church of Christ. And, we need to remember that despite what type of church we go to, we are part of the body of Christ. It says in Ephesians chapter 2, verse 19 through 22, it says, "Now therefore you are no longer strangers and foreigners, but fellow citizens with the saints and members of the household of God, having been built on the foundation of the apostles and prophets, Jesus Christ Himself being the chief cornerstone, in whom the whole building, being fitted together, grows into a holy temple in the Lord, in whom you are also being built together for a dwelling place of God in the Spirit." So God's given us this opportunity to come together and to worship Him and to praise His name. And that's what He wants. He wasn't able to get that with the angels. The angels worship Him on a daily basis because they have to. They were created to. But God wanted a free will of choice. He wanted people to worship Him because He was God, not because He just made them. And, we can support each other without having to bash each other. You know what I mean? A lot of the times we as churches tend to think that it's just our church and that's it. And that's not true. We're not the only church that's out here. I use a lot of sports metaphors and references. I love football, and I know it's not it's a sport, and some people don't like sports, but I look at it this way. In a sports metaphor, you have the coach, then you have the assistant coach, you have the supportive coaches, then you have the staff, then you have the players, head captain of the team, co-captains. There's order. And all that order did not just come out of thin air. God created order in the Bible. If you refer to the body of Christ, you have a head, you have arms, and referring to the body as a Christ, you have all these different parts on your body, but you only have one body. So I think a lot of the times we as churches tend to realize that it's just our church, and that's not what God's trying to say. We are united in His name for His cause. It says here in 1 Corinthians 12:25-26 that there should be no schism in the body, but that for members should have the same care for one another. And if one member suffers, all the members suffer with it, or if one member is honored, all the members rejoice with it. Meaning that we go through life and we have our trials and tribulations. We're in it together. God is our coach. We're the players. We're the quarterbacks, the wide receivers, the defensive backs, the linemen, all that. We are those positions. And it hurts my soul when churches get shut down because, unless it's the will of the Lord, that's one thing. But if it's because of other reasons that a church is closing its doors, that's not a good thing. That means that one of God's processes, one of God's works, or one of God's bodies is died. And that's not a good thing. We are supposed to be here to help our fellow church members, our fellow Christians in Christ. We are one body with God. And I'll even say it further too in Colossians chapter 3, verse 15. It says, "And let the peace of God rule in your hearts, to which also you were called in one body, and be thankful." We need to support each other as the body of Christ. Too many times you hear of people hurting other churches, taking churches and bashing them, when in reality we're on the same team. We're in this battle together. We're not separated. We're not divided. We're one body of Christ serving one God. I hope that I was able to uplift you guys with this message today. If you like this video, please share it with your friends and family. You can check out this video on our website at godsplanradio.wix.com/God's Plan Radio, or check us out on YouTube at God's Plan Radio. I hope you guys have a great Wednesday. We'll look forward to seeing you on our Friday webcast. Until then, y'all have a great day.